All right, welcome to the Truckers Radio Podcast. Today we got Brian from Florida and we got Daniel from Florida on here.
JJ, thanks for having me again. Dan, how you doing? Pleasure to be on the radio
How
with
about
you again.
you?
Not too bad, bud.
Well, we
Has it got hot down
got
there
on
yet?
the plan tonight. Yeah.
It's been, we had that cold stuff and it just got hot, man. Got real hot.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty damn
I'm
warm
over here
up
by
this way.
Columbia. I'm over here by Columbia, South Carolina, and it's 81 degrees right now at about 9:15. So
Yeah, Stacy, I'm up here rolling in Georgia up here on 16, and it's 75 degrees now.
Well, yeah. Good old Georgia. Man, I just wrote a song about that I'm fixing to release here for long. It's Red Dirt and Georgia Nights. But we're getting ready to release that one out here for long. That'll be out on YouTube on my music channel there for the songs I write and put out. It's called Stain Music Company, StaYne Music Company. Or you can just look it up under my name, either one. But, yeah, it's a little side gig I got him, a songwriter be on my Nashville. So I do that along with the podcast and books and everything else. So we just try to keep it all going on. We do it all.
Yeah.
So,
Have to check that out.
yeah.
yeah, I've checked it out. It's pretty good. I'm not a big country rock fan or a country fan at all, but that I got to say, man, that was some pretty good shit there.
Well,
Especially that song "Wildflower."
Yeah, that was actually one of my really good ones. It's actually done very well on Spotify and Apple Music. It's running my top song right now is Wildflower. So it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I was at a cookout a couple of weeks ago, and some people were playing music, and I recognized it, and it was another one of your songs. I don't know how they found it, but it was Party in the Barn.
Oh, yeah, Party in the Barn.
And everybody was drinking and partying and having a good time, and they just lit up when that song came. I said, I know that song. I know the guy that wrote it.
Yeah. I try to stay with it.
Got me popular there for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
Well, man, I try to write a wide variety. I'm catering to the Nashville music scene. I don't get out there and get out into the stage and play like I used to. I've spent my nights and days running up and down strip of Nashville and all that when I was younger. Man, I just think of time for all that. But I love to write. And I love to make music. I've been playing guitar and music since I was 6 years old. And like I said, down in Nashville is a whole different scene and everything. And I just really ain't interested in running up and down the strip anymore, man. My forte, I love writing music. I love writing anything, really. I like books. I've got a couple of books in the works. Got one I got published back last year. It's out on all your different platforms, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's even on Walmart.com. It's everywhere. That book is one of the books on mental health and child abuse and so forth like that. It's all based on true events, that book is. But I don't know, I like to write. I like to do a lot of different things, just be a truck driver. But as the old saying is, truck drivers is the most uneducated human on the planet. But I try to defy the odds. I say that's horse shit. I think we got some of the best people out here on the planet.
I think we know more. Yeah, we got more insight on a lot going on than most people do.
Yeah, but that's what everybody likes to think, truck drivers, man. With all that, y'all bunch of uneducated. Yeah, man, I will tell you what. I honestly, I don't think I'd be able to write the songs, nor the stories, the books, or any of the above without the experience of driving a truck. And I shouldn't even call it experience. I should call it education. Because the road will educate you more than any college or any school or any of the above. It's a hell of a teacher. School of hard knocks, that's for damn sure. Depends on how you go about it. Sometimes some of us got to go about it the hard way. I ain't gonna mention no names, but some of us definitely got to go about it by the hard way, and it is what it is. But I've learned my share of hard knocks. I know Daniel has from time to time. I'm sure Brian has.
Yeah, I think we all had a share of it.
As far as the trucking out on the road, man, it's a hard-ass life, not to mention all the stuff that we got going on right now. You got all of the roller coaster right now of cost. Fuel up, down. One day it's $4. One day it's $3. Next day it's $5. Next day it's $7. I see the thing out in California is 7 something a gallon. And I understand we got a lot going on in the world, and it's fluctuating the gas price, fuel price, and the whole 9 yards, not just for diesel. But when I think some of these companies, they get a little excited and they up the price of things because they're thinking, hey, here we go. We're going into a war and we're going to have an oil shortage. I think in a lot of ways, I think our commander-in-chief outsmarted a lot of them, because you seen on the other day, it jumped up to $100 plus a barrel. And I seen today that they'd flipped it around and came back down to $77 a barrel. I think, and there again, I'm not pro nothing. I'm pro we the people. Right's right and wrong's wrong. All right, we got Sammy on here from Ohio.
Hi, Sam.
How's it going?
Hey, Sam.
How you doing, Sam?
Yeah, he's here.
Pretty good. How about you guys?
We're doing.
Oh, we're doing all right, man. We're just talking about the fuel prices and everything, what's going on with the Iran deal and all that, and they lowered the price of fuel back down to $77 a barrel.
Well, I was wondering when it was up high, what kind of rates were going on out there with these brokers. I don't run anymore like that. I'm a company driver now, but I had to start and think about it like, man, I hope these brokers are cutting a better rate to these drivers out there, but I doubt it. Good. Yeah. I'm glad to see it go down.
Yeah, there's always that lag in that fuel surcharge they always squawking about. It's any way to try to swindle $1 out of something. They'll go to their customer, oh, no, we had a fuel raise. We got to charge the extra fuel surcharge. And they'll go back to the driver and say, well, man, that raise on that fuel surcharge ain't come through yet. We all know the bottom line of how it works.
I don't know. It looks like we're doing good over there. I think Trump's taken pretty much their oil away from them. He's took it away from China and Russia. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I
think things are changing, man.
I seen they were pissed about that, but you notice, and they just ain't mustered up the balls to do anything about it. And that's the difference between commander-in-chief and a babbling idiot. Right there. That's the difference, because they know better. That's why they ain't mustered up the balls to do nothing
there's
about
nothing Iran can do about it. They're basically throwing their missiles at this point. They've lost their entire Navy. Just about all of their Air Force is gone. A buddy of mine was telling me the other day that the fuel for their rockets is basically diesel fuel and fertilizer made into a paste.
Wow.
And that's why half of them malfunction when they take off. They end up landing right back on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a matter of time before this thing is over. I think I saw something today. Khomeini's son is now in charge. Of course, he's injured. Put out a list of demands.
They said he was on his deathbed, from what I heard.
Well,
they don't even know who's in charge. Yeah.
His list of demands said that Trump must hand over Netanyahu, pull out of all the Arab countries, get our bases out of there, and apologize to every single Iranian, as well as give them money and everything for all the trouble we've caused. So I think that's a good idea. If I was Trump, I'd be like, yeah, come over here. I'll give it to you in cash.
Yeah, meet me right here.
Well, I guess the $8 billion last time wasn't enough when Obama was in there.
Yeah. Well, that was a treat. That was a doggy treat. Yeah. Sent from our traitor in power at the time. It just amazes me of the horse shit that's gone on within our government before now. And we're busting a lot of things out and bringing a lot of things to light. Some people may agree, some won't, but proof's in the pudding. When you've got money going to foreign countries for stupid shit, we're giving $800 million to some place in the middle of God knows where. I don't even know what the name of the town was, for teach the people how to water paint. I'm sure that our hard-earned taxpayers' money needs to go to something a little better than that. I know every time I go down the road and I hit a pothole, I'm not thinking about painting the water painting. Are you? especially in a foreign country.
Now, let's be real. It's not just about water painting. It's about teaching trans people how to water paint.
Oh, I forgot that
There's a big difference there. So.
I forgot that part. And I left that out. How dare me leave that shit out?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I have no problem.
Makes a little more sense now, right?
But I have no problem with trans people painting. But do it on their dime, not ours. We don't need to be sending $800 million over somewhere for somebody to teach somebody to paint and then them give $750 million of it back in somebody's politician's pocket. And that's exactly what happens. You know it, and I know it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why we need to pass that SAVE Act and start putting that voter ID. The majority of Americans want it, and I don't know why they're letting Congress decide on it. Put it on the ballot.
Yeah.
Put it on the damn ballots. Let us vote for it, and
there.
especially term limits and things like that. And we'll start to see those changes.
Why they won't put it on the ballot? Because they know what's going to happen. That's exactly what they know. They know it. They know they're done, and that's exactly what they need to do. Because these people that has set up there, and I'm not even going to name names. I don't even give a shit. You ain't got to name names. Hell, you can throw a quarter and hit 3 of them. And it's not necessarily Republicans or Democrats. Hell, it's all. It's not, I ain't going to say all of them, but it's on both parts. They're crooked, and they've been crooked for many years. And it's hard to tell how many trillions and trillions of dollars that they have swindled out of the American people's pockets, tax money. They sure as hell, just like right now, they're hounding Daniel to death right here. And I ain't trying to throw your business out on the street, but the IRS is hounding the dog shit out of you over some money you don't even owe. Just because, you had a house fire and you can't get a hold of all your receipts. They don't care about all that. They don't care. They're going to try to just take everything you've got just because you ain't got the receipts. But they don't want to take into account, oh, no, you grossed this much money when you was an owner-operator. Well, we had expenses. You think that truck run on sailboat fuel? But they don't care. They don't want to count that. They don't want to put in a calculated price of what should have been spent. They want receipts that somebody can't have. Things happen. Life happens. Floods happens. Fire happens. Divorces happens. It happens. People lose the receipts and things like that, and they don't care. They look at it as an opportunity to rape and pillage and get more money. But I seen a thing out the other day where they were millions, if not billions of dollars of back taxes owed by actual IRS people, auditors, that don't even pay their own damn taxes. But yet they got enough nerve to come and knock on your door and try to take your bank account, your paycheck, everything else. What's up with that? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
And if you
a lot of corruption
they need that money.
Been going on.
They need that money because they got to feed these illegal immigrants that are coming in here. It's not cheap. They need that money. And so I guess it's up to me and people like me to pay the bill. So God forbid we ask the politicians to do it or hey, we just build a wall so they don't keep coming in here, or releasing them back on the streets when we arrest them for other crimes and we send them home. But no, if that's where my tax dollars were going, was for bus rides or plane tickets back to their country, I'd be all for it. Really would. Spend it away.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. There is a lot of, we're finding out more every day of where our tax dollars are going for these crooked politicians and these people, what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the time it is. It has to do with illegal aliens, but it's other stuff too. It's ridiculous stuff that we find out what's being wasted with our money. What about our roads and everything? South Carolina is a perfect example. What has the governor or the senator or whoever out there, what have they done? How long has it been so they actually fixed? And any of these owner-operators or even company drivers out here can even have a say-so in it and tell you, because it's destroyed trucks and all kinds of stuff. They haven't done a damn thing over in fixing the road systems over there. That's just an example. So, but yeah, Dan's right. He's absolutely right. There's a lot of corruption going on.
Oh yeah, and it's been like this. This didn't start with Biden. This has been going on for a long time.
Oh yeah,
The hands in the piggy
this is dating
banks.
back when Bush were in there.
With the hands in the piggy
It's been
banks.
going on since before we were born, and
Man.
generations back. It's just now we have somebody up there, people that are starting to expose it. And,
Right.
and I thank God for them, especially that young kid, Nick Shirley, that exposed all that in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
It's good to see somebody young like that's getting
Right.
involved. We've,
And the
you know,
disrespect.
it's all coming out.
And the disrespect for that Omar. You're supposed to be a professional senator, and you're going to yell out in a presidential address of the union. Really? You're going to show your ass when your dumb ass is as guilty as the next guy? That Waltz up there, I was watching some depositions of him the other day, and he just don't want to answer nothing. He knows he's guilty as hell. He knows he is. And he's trying every way in the world to basically defraud anything that's said, or, oh, no, I don't know nothing about that. Oh, I don't recall that. Well, what about this? What about that? And they're just wrapping him up. They already got all the answers. They're just trying to give him an opportunity to come clean and say, yeah, I screwed up. But he's not going to do that. He's going to lie right down to the very end. There's some really good.
What is it? They call that plausible deniability.
Yeah.
The term they like to use, because Hillary's doing the same thing over there in her deposition. And
yeah. Well, you better watch about saying shit on here, Hillary. Fuck, we'll all end up dead.
Oh, damn, I didn't think about that. Yeah. And if I accidentally commit suicide next week.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry, Hillary.
Well,
yeah.
Stacey, is it Hillary or Hillary?
I ain't decided yet. I don't know if I've had the brave enough to call her Hillary yet.
I don't know, but I know that her husband, he's walking around like a zombie AIDS corpse looking thing.
He is.
You know?
I'm telling you what. He is a babbling idiot. He's in the category right there with Biden, as far as I'm concerned. Him and Bernie Sanders and Biden all looped together, and probably the teacher of the three is probably AOC. That makes about as much sense as they do.
Yeah.
The leader of the three right there. Damn AOC, man, I have never in a million years seen any kind of horse shit like that. The amount of shit that comes out of that woman's mouth. She wants to go to the sun. She wants to go to the sun.
Remember Nancy?
But she wants to do it at night so it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Did you hear that on national TV? Come on, man. National TV wants to go to the sun.
And they get away with it.
Wow. And the sad part about it is that really drives me up the wall. People actually elected that woman. She's running for president. Where do they come up with this at? Where do they get the backing? That's what I'd want to know. Because I got to see these people. I'd really like to lay eyes on the people that actually back this woman right here. Because I've seen some babbling idiots in my life, but she takes the cake.
Well,
I don't care what anybody thinks.
You look at the Democrats now, Stacey, compared to years ago, even like back in the 70s, say back when Carter was in there. Look at the stuff that's going on. It's like just outright ridiculous. These people don't even have, it's almost like they don't even have a degree backing them. It's almost like they were just a number in their system and they were just placed in there. Look at the California governor, for instance. That guy is a complete bumbling fool. He is a complete moron.
Well, they say he's running for president with AOC.
Exactly.
That's going to be their winning racehorse. AOC is vice president, and the other one is the president, Gavin Newsom. I'd have to say I'd rather have Biden than them two. Not that I want Biden in there or anything. It's just a level of horse shit.
Look at Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, my.
Look at her, even back some years ago, getting away with being drunk and letting out loud slurs and stuff. Can you imagine if Trump did that? They would want to lock him up.
Oh, yeah.
They would go nuts. They would say, what's going on? This guy's drunk. He shouldn't even be in here.
I'd like to have the money.
Yeah, I think Nancy Pelosi's went to, I think she's at Betty Ford Clinic or somewhere now getting some help for her drinking problem.
Yeah, I'm sure she is.
Yeah, she may need to work on that drinking problem because she may be fixing to lose her budget for buying liquor. Taxpayers have been paying for it all this time.
Is it Betty Ford or Betty Crocker?
I think she's retiring.
Yeah, that's like I said, she's about to lose her budget.
Yeah, she might.
She probably needs to quit drinking because the taxpayers ain't going to pick up her tab. Did you see that, what they said she spent a year on liquor? And that was the taxpayers' tab, man. It was unreal.
Exactly.
It was unreal. But
she likes her ice cream, man. She might even start a little ice cream truck or something. Well,
oh, man. These politicians, man, they just make me sick the way they do. And they just think that we're the slave race. It don't matter what color you are, black, white, purple, pink, whatever. They all treat us the same. We're the slave race. You give us X amount of dollars, a percentage of your payday, and we're going to sit over here and party, and we're going to fly around the country in jets and belong to the Mile High Club and all the nine. We're sitting here paying for this party to just simply do whatever the hell they want to do. And then you look through the Epstein files and you start seeing everybody wanting to holler, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. I was doing some research. I'm actually working on a book that kind of edges on the lines of the sex trafficking and all that. And I'm doing a lot of research to write this book. And I was listening to this book, and it was wrote by the police chief of West Palm Beach, Florida. And it says very plainly in all of their investigation that the moment that Trump found out that Maxwell had approached a girl in Mar-a-Lago, she was banned for life. And there were some other rumors about Epstein doing the same thing, and he was banned for life. Now, does that make you sound like that's the kind of man that is involved with a sex scandal?
My understanding, Trump is the one that turned Epstein in years and years, decades ago. Even Bill Clinton just said in his deposition that the only mention of Donald Trump by Epstein was that back in the 90s, they had a falling out over a real estate deal.
Right.
Man, that's the thing, man. It's just, they want to blame Trump. They want to drag Trump into anything to take the focus off of the things that he's uncovered.
They're trying to stall everything.
Well, it's not just even stall.
There's
man.
AI pictures out there right now.
Oh, yeah. They're ignorant.
They're trying to throw them under the bus.
Well, I think the problem is, I look at it like this. The majority of us Americans, or we the people, we already know. The shit show's over with. It's enough. Stop. Stop with the Democratic smear campaign on Trump, because we already know. We know who you are. We know what you're done. And we're learning more day by day. But yet they just can't get enough of trying to smear that man through the mud. And there again, I'm not pro one way or the other. Right's right and wrong's wrong. If the man's doing a shitty job, I'd say he was doing a shitty job, but he's not. He's doing a pretty damn good job from where I'm sitting. A lot of the people don't understand what he's doing. Yeah, maybe they don't like this little military procedure that's going on right now, and I haven't lost much sleep over it.
The Iranian people sure fucking like it.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
they
they're
don't
out in
stop
streets
about
all
it.
over the world cheering,
Right.
We love Trump.
Exactly. And here's the thing, too. And this is, people make assumptions and they make opinions of situations that they don't know anything about. And that's the biggest problem with misinformation. Is they, oh my God, he's starting World War III. He's doing this. He's doing that. And then you got the left over here and certain news propagandas. They're over here smearing lies and running false advertisement. Oh, that they took half of our boats out, which ain't even true. Hell, we've wiped their ass plumb damn near off the map. But yet they're standing there crippled up, crip-shanked, and everything else trying to talk tough. Well, that's not going to deter anybody. And then they don't understand why we're even in there. But yet they make their opinion. And a lot of times they put it on social media or national TV or news or whatever it may be. And then that gets smeared somewhere else, and it just starts a whole shitstorm of misinformation. We're in there because these people were slaughtering their own people in their own country. These people were revolting back. They wanted these.
No, over the last few decades.
Well, the last few decades.
32,000 protesters were killed. Yeah.
Right. It was 44 million over the last decade.
Terrorists.
32,000 in the last month or so. Protesters, because they were tired of the Islamic State or whatever the hell they call them regime. They wanted them out, and they wasn't going to have it, and that's why we stepped in. Not to mention the long list of shit they've been doing, and their drive to create nuclear weapons. I don't know about you, but I don't want to sit here until they get one made, because that's a wild card. Hell, I think they're probably worse than North Korea. At least he knows when to sit down and shut up.
Well, they've already said they get a nuclear missile. They're gonna fire straight at Israel. So.
Oh yeah, and then the next one's coming toward us because they hate us just as bad. I mean,
they won't be able to reach us on not the mainland United States, but they'll use. They've already shown they'll bomb their own Arab nations and all that. Yeah. So if there's a military base, then yeah. But
I've heard that they could bomb Africa. Yeah.
Well, Africa, you got to figure Israel is right there above Africa. You got
right.
So it's not that far. But that's about it. They don't have the capability of a ballistic missile that could go halfway around the world. They're using diesel fuel and fertilizer for rocket fuel right now.
They got enough to make enough to where it could cause a hell of a lot of problems for people around them.
Well, even Russia and China know that they're volatile because they get their oil and a lot of stuff from them. A lot of military equipment comes out of Iran. A lot of drones. They're building a lot of drones. But why hasn't Russia or China given them a nuclear missile? Because they know. Even China doesn't like the fact that the Rocket Man over there in North Korea has got them because they don't trust him either.
No.
Somebody like that's not stable.
I'm like super surprised we ain't went in there and done something with that little asshole right there. I guess as long as he's sitting still clacking his heels together, we leave him alone. But he is just a volatile little fella right there that needed something done with him a long time ago.
Well, we had a shot to do that back in the 50s, and it didn't work out. We tried to go in there and help the South Koreans, and it wasn't a war that we won.
No, my grandfather served in the Air Force in that war right there. He was talking about how he served right on the line.
Mine was in the Army.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's definitely some crazy stuff, man. And we're kind of getting back to this whole thing with the war and stuff like that. There's just sometimes, man, shit's got to happen. We're going to have casualties occasionally. And don't get me wrong, my son's in the military too. And they've been a lot of talk that he's very possibly going to be able to get deployed. We're going to have, on an occasion, a few fatalities. And it ain't like that we set out for that to happen. We don't generally put boots on the ground in a country. We're so sophisticated. We usually fight most of our battles with drones and Air Force by the sea, and we don't put a hell of a lot of stuff in. And the biggest problem is they're hitting a lot of around these bases and stuff. And I seen an article the other day, and I'm not sure how true it is, that Russia was feeding Iran like our locations of all of our military stuff. And they were supposedly feeding Iran weapons and drones and stuff. And I'm not 100% sure that happened, but if it did, you know why it happened. And it happened because they're trying to protect their interest in that oil. Because them and China both has been getting oil dirt cheap. And that strengthens their economy. And both of them, even with the Venezuela, the same thing.
We took it away. Venezuelan contact we had away first, so that leaves Iran. In the same sense, you can't blame them. We're over here giving all this money to Ukraine and weapons to them as well, so
I get it, but
one hand washes the other there.
Yeah, but they're doing it in terms they're trying to protect their interest in that cheap ass oil they get. That's what strengthens their economy while they keep the price jacked up on us. That weakens their economy. But if you look at what's played out over the last several months, the play in Venezuela and then the play with Iran has severed the oil, and we've took control of the oil in both of these locations that some of our biggest enemies get their oil. To me, I think that's a pretty good stance to have in controlling a war or a possible war, or keeping people at bay so there won't be a war. If you cut off the supply of oil, it's kind of hard for them to fight. So in all reality, it looks like a pretty good chess game at this point. So I think
I saw today, I guess, the Iranians have put mines out there in the Strait of Hormuz, which is, Trump's already said if that's the case, then there's going to be hell to pay for that. But they're not letting anybody through that stands with Israel or the United States or even some of the other Arab nations. So that's the one last little stronghold they have, and that's one of the primary shipping lanes in the world right now. So,
well, I figure that's going to be next. It's going to be flipped around.
Oh yeah,
we're not going to sit here and let that happen. I think we definitely have the absolute most powerful military in the world, but I don't even think most of the people in the United States has a clue just how powerful our military can be. I think there's a lot of things we don't know, even about our own military. The things that we have in store that other countries ain't even seen. They was talking about that they hadn't even used that laser yet. That they claim that's just a game changer right there.
Oh yeah, we've got all that. Well, we showed it in Venezuela, the EMP, the electromagnetic pulse weapens.
Yeah, they did
like that, which have been around for a while. They just
I don't think they've really used.
There's a lot of things. It used to be back in the day, it was who had the bigger bombs, the big nuclear bombs. That's not feasible, and most of our bombs are nuclear bombs, are smaller missiles. That the idea is not to destroy the whole frickin' country, but the parts of it. Get rid of like a city or a part of a city. And so more precision with these nuclear missiles, just smaller warheads.
Right.
And which makes a lot more sense. I think Russia still has some of those big bombs. We still have a few as well. We're not going to get rid of them, but that's the new trend now. The smaller missiles and with nuclear warheads that can target areas. Because what good is it if you're going to nuke somebody, you can't go over there for 2,000 years because of the radiation?
Right.
The fallout that goes around the world, it's just keep it minimal.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. The little boy on the playground always got to carry the ball bat around to feel safe. He don't know how to use it. He's probably going to fool around and eventually get his ass whooped, but he feels safe while he's holding it, though. They all want nuclear weapons to feel safe and feel like they hold a foothold in the world. And I get it. We all like security, and nobody wants to be attacked or taken over or any of the above. And I think that's a deterrent in most cases. And Russia's definitely all about propaganda. Back in the Cold War, you know how they would paint trees and everything else to make us think that they had all this stuff. So that thought process with Russia still hasn't stopped. So do we really even know if they've got this stuff, or is this damn painted up tubes and no substance to them, or whatever it may be?
We know what they got at this point. After the fall of that wall there, Berlin Wall came down. We know a lot more about it. That's how we found out they never had as much as they ever told. They were brilliant. In my opinion, they somewhat won the Cold War because they caused America to spend and spend thinking that we had to keep up, that they got like tens of thousands of nuclear missiles, so we need to spend that money. Now, in the long run, when you think about it, that's why we have the most powerful military, because we spent a lot of money on the military instead of infrastructure and things of that nature. Once the wall came down and we didn't have to worry so much about communism, look how technology kind of took a leap. The focus was more on that stuff. So, yeah, they did good. They did good with themselves, with their propaganda, and they had us fooled for a long time, but we know what they got for the most part. They know a lot of what we have too. So.
Oh, I'm sure they do, and that's probably why
they
they
didn't know
there.
What we had, they probably would have attacked.
Oh, yeah, especially when we confiscated their oil tanker over in Venezuela. They didn't just stand there and do nothing for no reason. They didn't just stand there and do nothing for no reason. They know. And I'm not trying to sit here and fluff our feathers as Americans and all that. We could end up in a mess just as easy as anybody else, don't get me wrong. But sometimes business has just got to be taken care of. When you got the bully over there in the Middle East, it just keeps on, and they start even killing their own people, somebody's got to have enough cojones to step the hell in. And that's exactly what just happened. They're so used to the weak leadership not doing a damn thing about it. Well, as my old saying is, they effed around and found out this time, didn't they?
Yeah, when it's over, Cuba's next. So,
I'm sure.
Before he gets out of office, Cuba will be done.
Well, maybe we can vacation down there and get some cigars one of these days, some real ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some good cuisine down there, Stacy, and good cigars and drinks, all kinds of stuff. Pretty women.
Yeah, the Cuban food's good.
Beautiful women.
It ain't bad at all.
Well, all you got to do is go to Miami for that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at I eat a lot of Cuban food. The Cuban espresso,
well,
man, that's just good.
You can, Dan, but I'll tell you, the unique thing about Cuba is you'll see a lot of the old cars over there. They love those old cars over there down there in Cuba.
It's not that they love them, Brian. It's back in the 50s. Well, before Fidel Castro, they had a friendly government over there, especially to the mafia. That's why they have all those fancy buildings that were going to be casinos and stuff. They had all those cars.
Right.
Once Castro came in, they shut everything down. There was no trade on vehicles like that with America. And so those old cars, they keep them running. But it's an island nation. They don't have a lot of space for vehicles. I know anybody that's ever trained out here, truck drivers, I once said, I'll never do it. If they come from an island, even if it's Long Island, I will not train them because they can't drive. They're not used to vehicles. They're used to bicycles, and their country's not big enough to have a lot of cars. So they keep those old cars and they keep them running for transportation. But we take Cuba, you might start seeing some Ford Explorers and Expeditions, things like that down there, and it'd be a whole different world then.
Yeah, I noticed that. Me and the wife, back first part of December there, we went on a vacation one of the places we went to was Dominican Republic. And I was just amazed at some of the way, that's a pretty cool little town, man. That capital, we went to the capital over there. That's a pretty cool little town, man. Their food and their coffee and their cocoa and a lot of their rum, man. They had some really good rum. That stuff was awesome. We got to go do a rum tasting and coffee tasting. Man, I brought back some of that coffee oh my God, that coffee. I'm a coffee fanatic. I love my different kinds of coffee.
Some
and
of the
ground
best
and
coffee comes over in those regions, yeah.
Oh, I think
Colombia, all of Cuba.
Doctor tells me I need to drink more water. I'm like, I do, Doc. I drink 40, 80 ounces of coffee a day, and that's made with water. But I love coffee, man. That's probably my primary drink. I drink day in, day out, night, hot, summer, winter. It don't make a damn. I got a cup of coffee sitting right here beside me right now. It's definitely
and don't forget some of your best baseball players come from over in those countries too.
I liked it over there myself.
Shining out for years over there.
Yeah, Dominican Republic, that was actually a pretty cool place, man. We went and did a lot of the shops, and man, we went on a whole day tour of the city and all that. Man, it was definitely pretty cool, man. I was really impressed. I know they're not the richest in the world, but I was really impressed with the amount of industry and things they had. And I was really impressed with that. They do pretty good for themselves and
Right.
their exports and stuff. They got a lot of the people rides those bikes, those little mini motorcycles and stuff like that. You've seen that a lot. You've seen a lot of the old cars. You've seen a lot of newer cars. You've seen a lot of the BMWs and things like that, and you've seen a lot of that. But
I don't think I'd want to ride a bike, especially over in Costa Rica. It's a third world country, totally different rules and engagements over there, especially on the streets, man. I mean, they look at New York City. That's nothing compared to some of these places over there, the way they drive and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of it, just like we talked about.
But no, it's funny you say that, Brian. They got a whole set of rules and a whole different set of rules, everything for riding a motorcycle or anything like that. You would actually go to another country and you would actually think about that. I'm impressed, Bob. I really am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got people comes over here and they just buy a damn CDL. They don't need to know shit about rules or signs, or they don't need to read the language. No, we can get a federal commercial driver's license. Depends on who you know, who you pay, and you can go out and earn yourself a living, not pay any taxes, and go wreck and kill people and then just go back to your country like it didn't happen.
Right.
Why does that not work that way other countries, though? I mean, what if we did that over there? I'm actually kind of impressed that you really thought of that, Brian. I'm impressed.
Yes, sir.
So that just basically shows you we as decent human beings, we do think about things like that because there's rules. We think about rules in other countries because, hey, we're in another country. You know, that we abide by their rules, not our
engagement,
rules.
man.
Exactly. And now you do see a lot of Americans go to other countries and think that they're entitled and they think they're protected by the constitutional right and this and that and, oh, that's my constitutional right and this and that. Well, that Constitution don't apply only in America. That's it. It don't apply in other countries. You'd be surprised at the people that don't understand that. But that's definitely something that it's pretty cool to go into these other countries and stuff and seeing the different things. We like to travel and do different things. I've seen the one in the United States, the other about 100 times over. I like going to other places I ain't been. But
Well, Stacy, I just got to my destination here.
all right, Bubby.
It's been an honor being on the show again. It's been a while.
Oh.
Dan, I ain't talked to you in a while. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, too.
ASAP, if it's all right with you, Stacy.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. Anytime, buddy. You just call in anytime. And eventually we got a lot of things going on here, man. And I need to explain that to probably our audience, our followers and all that. They've been a lot of things transpired. And I know you guys have probably noticed I haven't been uploading nearly as much stuff as I normally had. And I really try to stay on top of our stuff and keep the material coming out and staying on top of the world. But we had an episode back, right before Christmas, my dad passed away. And there've been a lot of changes and a lot of things that's had to take place since that happened because of taking care of my other obligations. So we're going to be moving to another location, and reasons being is I've got to be able to take care of my mom now. So we're buying a bigger house, which is a plus, kind of a win-win. And we're getting ready to move, and I'm going to have a whole new studio, and I'm having it set up and built, soundproofed. We're going to be able to do several more cameras, some better lighting, and we got a lot of things in the works. By no means are we going anywhere. Hell, we just got started. We are never going anywhere. As long as I can sit here in front of this mic and this camera and have enough mind to talk and make sense of what's going on in the world and trucking and right and wrong we're going to be out here and we're going to be talking and bringing everything out here that we can help anybody. And we don't always talk a lot of politics, but they just been a lot of politics going on here lately. So we kind of feel the need sometimes. Right. And just because we drive a truck, man, you can only talk trucking for so long. And then we got to talk about some real world shit. But I know as a driver, I've been out here up and down this road and in the industry for over 30 years. We talk about everything. We talk about trucking. We talk about politics. We talk about what's going on in the world, what's causing the fuel to go up and down. We talk about everything, and that's kind of what we do here on our show. I wear a lot of different hats. I founded a company called Sabren Group, which is a counseling company that helps domestic violence survivors and trauma, PTSD, drug rehab. We do it all. And we have people that's there and trained to help if need be or help. We do all kinds of stuff there. And I'm also a writer. I write books. I write songs. I have a lot of things going on, and I write songs for PMI Nashville. I've been a musician most of my life also. So I'm just not what you would say your run-of-the-mill truck driver. I have a lot of things going on. So into things that's kind of heating up on all directions. So there's only one of me, but we're going to keep it all afloat and we're going to keep it going down the road. So that being said, I don't want anybody getting discouraged saying, hey, this guy ain't putting out episodes. Man, we're just getting started. We're just in the middle of trying to move and get a new studio built and everything else. Got a lot going on. But just let you know, heads up, we're not going anywhere. So, Daniel, I know you're on the show a lot, man. You've done a lot and jumped in and helped and rolled your sleeves up and done stuff, and we appreciate everything you bring to the table, too.
I appreciate that. I'd really like to hear some more with everything going on in the news, in this country, not just around the world. I'd like to hear from some of the drivers out west. Again, I'm now a company driver. I stay pretty much regional down here in the southeast, and it's been about 4 or 5 years since I've been out west. I kind of like to hear from some guys out there, and people are listening. Chime in. And let's get a different perspective from different regions in the country, what other people are seeing in their states, especially California. Yeah, I'd like to hear from some of those drivers out there, what it's like up and down that western seaboard right now. So,
exactly. Well, like I said,
you had one guy from Washington, didn't you? Washington State that called in.
I think. Yeah, he called in there, and I stay in contact with him, and we can get him back out. And we got some other people that's not even been on the show that I've got planned. And like I said, moving forward, when we get the new studio up, we're going to try to get a live line to where we can say, hey, we're going to be Wednesday night, 8 to 12, midnight, we're going to be live. We're going to take live calls. We want to hear everybody's opinion. We want to talk to everybody and let everybody be part of the show. We want to get everybody's voice on the line and hear, hey, what's your story of the road? But I always leave the email in the comments. I always put that in there. If I miss it on an episode, it's in one of the other ones. Drop me a line, man. If I can't get back in contact, you leave me your phone number or what you want to talk about. I'll give you a call, man. We'll bring you on the show. We'll schedule a time, bring you on the show, and we'll make a whole episode out of it. I want everybody to feel like that they're a part of this, and that's what it is, and that's what I built this for. Is we the people, we the truck drivers, and this is one great big ass community. Right's right, wrong's wrong. That's what I put my whole thing about here. And I know politics, this, that. I try not to get into one side or the other. I just like to talk about good common sense and what's good for us as a country, what's good for us as Americans, and what's good for our economy. And that's what I try to look at. I try not to be blurred one way or the other. I have my preferences, but that's my opinion. And I'd like to hear other people's opinion too. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't align with my opinions. We can discuss it like adults. It doesn't matter. We can have a conversation. So drop me a line. I'll bring anybody on the show that's got a reasonable plot to put on the show. I'll bring them on the show. And There's some other things that I plan on doing. I want to do a show on what it's like to be a truck driver in Australia. I'd like to get with I've seen a YouTuber, not YouTuber, he's a podcaster over in Australia. I'd actually like to get that cat on the show, man. It'd be super interesting to just learn about what's going on, what's it like to run a truck in the Outback. What are your rules and regulations over there compared to ours? What's your hours of service over there? I'd be interested in to see what's going on in other countries. That'd be cool. I used to work with a guy who used to drive a truck in Brazil. That was pretty neat. He was cool as shit, man. He had that accent, man. It's pretty cool. But he was an interesting creature, I should say. But anyway, like I said, man, we're gonna call it a day for the Truckers Radio podcast, man. We're gonna tune in, and I need to get these out there. And like I said, I'm really limited on time right now. Don't give up on us. When we get everything situated, we're gonna be back in black. Gonna be ready to go. We ain't going nowhere.